Hey everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace here. Actually getting run up out of the office a little sooner than I wanted to. Had some bad weather, a couple of lightning strikes, knocked out the power, and then the internet. Power came back on, but the internet did not. And so here we are. As you can probably hear, we got some inclement weather, but I still want to talk to you guys. Forgive me for the ambient noise or whatever, but I think you can hear me clearly enough to understand what I'm saying. Situations are not always going to be optimal, but sometimes you got to function and operate in non-optimal conditions and get things done. That's where I'm at right now, so that's what I'm going to do as much as I possibly can. Before I talk to you about what I want to talk to you about, I want to remind you, if you haven't watched the video about the Building Black Generational Wealth project, which starts with the writing of my 25th book and projects out from there, and how you can sponsor a part of the project and have your name and in the book and a bunch of other stuff. Go check that out. There's going to be a link on this video where you can choose your sponsorship or do whatever, but basically this is my 25th project as far as writing and publishing a book. I own my own publishing company, so there's no advances or anything like that. I do it out of my love, and I fund it myself. And when I can make a profit, I make a profit from the sales and other things, speaking engagements, other things that come from it. But if you sponsor, there are different categories. Go check it out. It's going to be in the description box, the basics. But you can go to the page, click the link, go to the page, and you can see it all. But when you sponsor, depending on the sponsorship, you'll either be bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. Everybody's name will go in the book. Everybody will get an opportunity to memorialize someone based on their sponsorship. You can write whatever you want to memorize somebody, or to dedicate it to appreciate somebody. You may have a living person you want to dedicate. You may want to dedicate it to a spouse or whatever. You can do that. Anybody who sponsors for a platinum of 100 over, the platinum actually starts at 76, but anybody who sponsors $100 or more will actually have their dedication page to themselves. It won't be shared with anyone else. They'll have their own dedication page in the book. I just wanted to share that because to me this is a very special project, but it's huge. If you want to learn more about it, go watch the video on the channel. It's probably the video right before this one, if I'm not mistaken. If everything is lined up in order, it should be the one before this one, but it was definitely put up to date. Go watch it. It will give you all the details to tell you how deep this book. This book is probably going to be about 400 pages. This isn't just about finances, it's just about economics. This isn't just about group economics. It's about the entire system, how the system was created, and how we were never meant to prosper in it. And how the 5% of us that do are often misled to assume that because we made it, that everybody else behind us should be able to make it, and we tend to behave accordingly. How I build wealth, no matter how successful I've been, how I build wealth is not the same way, in the same rate, and on the same scale as how a white man does it. And so we talk about all that, and we talk about how to balance the scales ourselves in this book. I'm excited about it. Again, also, anybody who sponsors, I forgot about this point, anybody who sponsors $25 or more also gets a signed copy of the book. Okay, that's out of the way. I am just seeing all kind of things go down my timeline, come across my different emails. In case you don't know, I get a bunch of emails of people saying, hey, Doc, this is going on. You got to talk about this. Hey, Doc, this is going on. What do you think about this? Hey, Doc. And so I end up, instead of trying to answer everybody's questions, I end up doing videos about things people ask me about, or things I think will have the opportunity to have good teaching moments. But some of the stuff I see coming down the timeline, if people don't see what's going on, I don't know. I mean, everything from, that was a CNN article about the government has developed a chip that you can insert in you, and it'll be able to detect whether you have COVID in your system. Now, I remember when people were talking about the government inserting microchips in us, we would call conspiracy theories. Now the microchips have been unveiled. Actually, were unveiled several years ago. This is just another of a series of chips that have now come to the forefront that they're going to expect you to either voluntarily or involuntarily insert into your body. Also, down the timeline, totally different category story, but still a sign of the time. That on the DC Comics, the character Robin from Batman and Robin is now coming out as bisexual. And just another sign of the time, and also an expression of just how much force and power the LGBTQ community has. Because now what we're doing is we're not saying, okay, hey, look, we're expecting to be respected and accepted, but we're going to literally go back and rewrite the narrative of history and write ourselves in retroactively. And it doesn't matter if it's a character that you grew up loving with a certain state of mind or frame of mind and how you identify with that character. We care less about you. We're making it about us. And then I go on and on and on about the feminization of young black males, the feminization of the black male image, the degradation of black men. We talked about the inaccuracies of Nick Cannon's statement about marriage and monogamy. And this isn't a knock against polyamory or polygamy. It's to sit up and say that marriage has existed for a minimum of 4,000, 5,000 years. The 2,000 since the 2,000 and something years we have in AD, and another 2,500 in BC is what we're talking about. As far as this is not simply a Christian mechanism, and I went on and I talked about that in the video about Nick Cannon. There are a lot of things I want to talk about, but some things I won't get into on this channel. So I'm going to make a video and I'll share it on a platform where I can speak fluidly, boldly, and unapologetically without censorship or negative consequence. And I'll let you know when it's up, and I'll give you access to it and you can check it out. But I think you think what I'm going at. What we have a responsibility to do, and this is why I'm here, not to talk about what's wrong, but to talk about what we need to do. We've got to become more proactive in engaging the nefarious forces that are in play that mean us no good. We've got to, first of all, develop an acute sense of awareness to know when to be offended. We can be offended by some of the most inconsequential things, and the things that have weight and gravity and force in our lives that should be offensive, we let ride. We've got to know how things work. We got to know what impacts us the most. We got to know what things we should be concerned about. We should know that the music industry is a major mechanism and medium through which our children can be programmed and dumbed down. And all you got to do is sit down and have a conversation with the average teenager, and you'll understand they are not the teenagers we were. Not that we have it all together, we were teens. But what we thought and what we were looking for and the expectations and how we saw things, you can listen to the conversations and it's just not there. There's a big empty void, and it's our fault. It's absolutely our fault, because it's our responsibility to educate and socialize our youth, not theirs. But they've been given total access, total reign, total say so. Matter of fact, if they say it, we double down on it. We don't research. We don't try to gain an understanding. If they say it's right, it must be right. I mean, we're willing to ignore hundreds of years of history and experience to take on something and trust something that nothing in our awareness should tell us to trust. But it's just easier to do, I guess. Look, I'm not gonna be long because I know it's a lot going on with the rain and the wipers and all that. But let me explain something to you. If we don't get our act together, if we don't develop a perspicacity and understanding of how things work at a level that guides our decision making and how we move, we will become completely irrelevant as a group and a race in this country within the next 20 years. It sounds far-fetched, but I have been predicting and watching the decline for the last 25 years, minimum. And it's happening at a very rapid rate, and we don't get it. We're so caught up in the superficial. We're so caught up in living vicariously through those who have achieved success that we don't see the markers. They're pre-planning the markers of our gravestones to write us off as a race, and we don't see it because we're too busy partying and celebrating and believing in patriotism and believing in so many other things, despite the way that we've been handled, that we have not prepared ourselves, that we have not established ourselves, that we have not created any form of self-sufficiency, and it's going to bite us in the ass. On that note, I'm gonna get ready to get off of here. Speaking of self-sufficiency, again, if you have not seen the video about the latest book number 25, man, you could have told me 25 when I wrote number 1, and I'd have been like, man, you crazy. But I realize I have so much inside of me to give, and I'm not done. But 25 is definitely a benchmark. It's a special number, and I want to do the best I possibly can. So I'm asking you guys to sponsor the project. You know, obviously what you guys don't sponsor, I'm going to cover as I always do with all my projects. But I would love to have you guys be a part of it and participate in it and be able to be a part of the finished product. Like I said, those sponsorships are going to be published in the book along with your memorials for whoever you want to memorialize. On that note, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. To look and see how you can sponsor the book, check the description box of this video, and you can either go directly and sponsor, or if you want to know more, the link to the page to sponsor will be in there, and you can just go to the page, read from there, and then sponsor from there. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable